Helmbreaker cancel? Trash. Spirit Blade 3 cancel? Okay, this one's pretty good. Spirit Charge cancel? Absolutely busted. But wait, that's a normal Foresight slash. Is it though? The Spirit Charge cancel lets you cancel Spirit Charge into Foresight Slash or Special Sheath. At first, I thought it was kind of useless, because all three moves require an attack before they can be performed. A Spirit Charge cancel would just be adding an extra step. I wanted to test it earlier, but the beta ended and I didn't want to poke a hole in my firewall to keep playing. Now that the beta's back, I can definitively say, it's completely busted if you're skilled enough to abuse it. The Spirit Charge cancel fills your gauge so you can Foresight with no gauge. It also lets you cancel into Foresight and Special Sheath after moves that normally don't allow it. Finally, you know how I said it can only be performed after another attack? You can actually Spirit Charge cancel out of a roll. There are two big restrictions. First, the timing is really tight. You can't delay your inputs like you normally can for Foresight and Special Sheath. Once you start, you cannot adjust your timing. There's a reason I'm practicing on Chotacabra. The learning curve is steep, and messing up often gets you hit. This isn't a technique anyone can pick up and destroy the game with, but it can make great players even better. Second, you cannot input a direction if you want to use the cancel. You need to work around this with smart positioning. Or, you could just abuse focus mode. If you missed my first video, here's how you perform the Spirit Charge cancel. Spirit Charge can be performed after an attack or roll by holding the right trigger during that animation. During is the key here. If you start holding the right trigger after the animation, you'll perform a Spirit Blade attack before performing Spirit Charge. To perform the Spirit Charge cancel, your timing is important. You can only cancel the first stage of Spirit Charge. As soon as you lift the sword above your shoulders, the cancel becomes unavailable and you're stuck with a normal Spirit Charge. Also, if you input a direction with your left stick during Spirit Charge, the cancel becomes unavailable. While holding the right trigger at this stage of Spirit Charge, you can press the right face button to perform Foresight Slash, or the bottom face button to perform Special Sheath. Now you understand why the timing is so tight. The Spirit Charge cancel requires 3 consecutive inputs, with your second and third inputs having their timings fixed based on your first input. All the timing is completely dependent on when you input the first move and how long its animation is. Now that you know how to perform the cancel, let's go over its uses. The first use is to generate gauge for Foresight Slash. If you don't have gauge, Foresight Slash has a shorter invincibility window, doesn't refill your gauge, and can't combo into Round Slash. Spirit Charge refills your gauge at the cost of stamina. The Spirit Charge cancel fills a tiny amount of your gauge, which is all you need to trigger a complete Foresight. Thankfully, you can't Spirit Charge cancel after Foresight, so you can't loop it endlessly. Our next use is performing Foresight and Special Sheath after moves that normally don't allow it. The ones I've found are rolling, EI Slash, EI Spirit Slash, and failed EI Spirit Slash. After a roll gives you quick access to Foresight and Special Sheath on top of mobility. Canceling after EI Slash has very limited use cases, since you could just input a Rising Slash instead. Maybe your Rising Slash would have bounced, or you have no gauge to Foresight. EI Spirit Slash is much more interesting. You could already Special Sheath after a successful EI Spirit Slash, but now you can Foresight Slash as well. Failing an EI Spirit Slash is way different. A failed EI Spirit Slash used to leave you with no follow-up options except for Spirit Thrust or a very late roll. Now you can Spirit Charge or cancel into Foresight Slash or Special Sheath. So, how strong is the Spirit Charge cancel? Well, it's been one day, but here are my early opinions. The Spirit Charge cancel doesn't raise the damage ceiling of Longsword. If you play perfectly, you probably won't need Spirit Charge cancel. However, it really starts to shine when you mess up. If you run out of gauge or miss your EI Spirit Slash, the Spirit Charge cancel is a Hail Mary that might bail you out. Canceling into Foresight and actually landing it is hard to perform consistently, but with a lot of practice, I think I could do this on command. Most of the time, there's no reason to use the Spirit Charge cancel to Foresight. It's not hard to have a bit of gauge from attacking the monster, landing EI Slash, or being in red gauge. However, there will be times when it's one of your best options. If you have no gauge and can't attack the monster before it attacks you, EI Spirit Slash and the Spirit Charge cancel are your best options. If you're about to get hit after EI Spirit Slash, the Spirit Charge cancel or Hyper Armor trading with Spirit Thrust are your best options. In this example, no damage is better than half damage. Being able to recognize and react to these situations takes practice but has a huge payoff. Canceling into Special Sheath is where things start to get overpowered, at least in my opinion. Chaining successful EI Spirit Slashes is already one of the strongest ways to play. The catch is that your counters have to be successful. Now you can chain them together even if you fail. The Spirit Charge cancel enables a really degenerate playstyle where you can sit in Special Sheath all the time, fail most of your counters, and still have access to the best parts of your kit. Keep in mind that if you're missing most of your counters, your damage is terrible. Don't get the wrong idea, you'll still use the Spirit Charge cancel even if you're good. You're going to miss an EI Spirit Slash at some point, and canceling the recovery into Foresight is something only the Spirit Charge cancel can do. If this doesn't get patched, you can expect a guide from me sometime after full release. I'd really like to know your thoughts on the Spirit Charge cancel, and if anyone finds a new use for it, please let me know in the comments. Until then, happy hunting.